So Donald Trump built his entire platform on the idea that the mainstream news media was against him. Anything they said that was negative, he called that fake news. And he had convinced his flock that if they heard anything bad about him at all, that it wasn't true. And if he lost at anything, then the game must be rigged against him. But what's funny now is watching the mainstream media turn and get all behind Trump. And it seems that he can do no wrong in their eyes these days. And they're telling people like us that we're the ones that needs to tone it down. And we need to stop saying that he wants to be a dictator or he's a threat to democracy, even though he himself said that he would like to be a dictator. Here's the receipt.
Sean Hannity the other night, I did a town hall. He's a good guy, too. He is a good guy. But he said, okay, because he wanted to, you're not going to be a dictator. Is that, you're not? I said, no, Sean, I'm going to be a dictator. I said that. Right. These guys know it better than I do. I'm going to be a dictator for one day.
Now, pointing that out is not trying to incite violence at all. Pointing that out is simply saying, hey, here in America, we were supposed to be a democracy. We were never supposed to live under a dictatorship. And anyone out there that says, well, he might have been joking with that or he wasn't serious, that's not something you joke around with, folks. Our grandfathers fought for democracy. We celebrate the fact that they served this country. And we honor them for serving this country. And I feel like that to even joke about something like that is a slap right on a veteran's face. That's truly how I feel about it. So I don't condone at all what happened in Pennsylvania. I condemn that. I think it was a terrible thing. I don't want to see any physical harm brought to Donald Trump or any of his supporters. I simply want him to be held accountable for his words. But leading up to all this stuff, some people are saying that we need to tone it down. But when I show you the receipts of this rhetoric here, ask yourself, who was the one turning up the volume? Who was the one turning up the heat? Because it sure sounds like it was Trump. Now, Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network is on Trump's email list, and he gets emails from him. And I want you to take a close look at the emails that Trump was sending to him leading up to all this. And this is what he was sending out to all of his followers and supporters. Take a look at the rhetoric he was using and then tell me who's the one turning up the heat.
This is the emails that he sends every day. Let me just read from you over the past month, some of the emails. This one goes, I'm addressing the nation in 60 minutes. This is before he spoke in Butler, Pennsylvania. He goes, all hell breaks loose in 1 hour. Trump rally alert. When I take the rally stage, I could be making a major announcement that's sure to strike fear in the hearts of our deep state enemies. Donald Trump, just a few days before that, wrote the following, all hell breaks loose in 7 days. The final battle starts in 7 days. After I accept the nomination, the liberation of America truly begins. And when it does, I'll need millions of patriots like Ben standing by my side, ready to demolish the deep state and rescue our country from filthy lunatics, he writes. This is what he wrote on July 9th. So all this is in the past week. The message is official Trump merch, don't tread on MAGA. I'm speaking directly to Joe Biden and the rest of the mob that wants to throw me in prison. Don't tread on MAGA. Here's one a few days before that. The gloves are coming off. This was before the debate. I'm bringing out the big guns, and in caps is the word guns, before I step into the ring with crooked Joe Biden tomorrow. That means, Ben, I'm not pulling any punches, so I'm inviting you to join my debate prep. Here's another one that he sent a few days before that. I've got a secret weapon. And it says, all I need is Ben. And it says that Biden's even got a gang of Soros-backed prosecutors chomping at the bit to send MAGA to the grave. But I have one thing he'll never have, the love and support of America First patriots like you. You are my secret weapon in the fight to save America. And he puts this in caps, from total annihilation. Just think about the words he's using. Total annihilation. He uses words, sending me to the grave. He uses words, the gloves are coming off, big guns, don't tread on MAGA, liberation of America, help me demolish the deep state. He's calling people filthy lunatics, deep state enemies. Over and over again, email after, he sends like 7 of these emails every single day. Then he says this next one, it goes, Ben, you've got guts. And it says, I owe my life to you. It takes guts to stand up against the corrupt ruling class the way you did. If it weren't for patriots like you, my campaign would have been dead and buried long ago. And he has it caps dead and buried. So you see what he's doing here with these emails to his supporters. By the way, these are selfie videos.
Okay, what I would like for someone to do is go find where Joe Biden talks to his supporters that way. Go find where Joe Biden has a nickname for every opponent that he has. That you don't see that from Joe Biden at all. He doesn't start off his sentences with dumbass Donnie. You know, he doesn't go there like Trump does with the Sleepy Joe comments every time and Crooked Joe. He said and used this type of rhetoric. He called for the vermin to be rooted out. He called us the enemy of the people. He says, he uses phrases like you just heard in those emails, and then people sits back and wonders why the temperature got so hot in the political climate. People wonders why that people are so outraged and worked into a frenzy. When you set and work people up that way, what do you expect? Again, I don't condone any of the violence, and I don't want to see anyone out there hurt whatsoever. I want to make that perfectly clear. But when you're using that type of rhetoric, sending that type of message to your supporters, what do you think you're saying to them? When you're calling us the enemy, when you talk about total annihilation, when you talk about how you're going to demolish the deep state, you know, there are people out here like us who disagrees with Donald Trump's stances and disagrees with his policies, and it's American of us to stand up and say so. It's not un-American of us to disagree with him. And if you think that it's un-American to disagree with one leader, then you completely miss the point of America. You completely miss the point of democracy and what we're supposed to be about. You know, if a bully sits back and bullies a kid in school to the point that he gets his ass whipped, I mean, people normally will say, well, he kind of brought that on himself. And I'm just saying, when you look at what Donald Trump has done and look at the rhetoric he's used and the way he's talked to his followers, and you look at all the clips we've shown you, all we're doing is bringing the receipts. All we're doing is showing you what kind of rhetoric he used. So to twist it and turn it and say that it's us that's somehow, you know, trying to turn up the temperature. No, if anything, we've been trying to cool this down this entire time by saying, hey, can someone hold this guy to account on his words? Because when you use words like that with people who already think the game is rigged against them, what do you truly expect is going to happen? What do you truly expect is going to happen when you talk to people that way? When people think that they're being erased, when people think that they're being done away with. Joe Biden has always stood up and tried to work to unify this country. I want to play you this clip right here of Biden talking about Trump and how we need to come together and how it's okay to disagree. When have you ever heard Donald Trump with this type of temperament?
The Republican convention will start tomorrow. I have no doubt they'll criticize my record and offer their own vision for this country. I'll be traveling this week making the case for our record and the vision, my vision of the country, our vision. I'll continue to speak out strongly for our democracy, stand up for our Constitution and the rule of law, to call for action at the ballot box, no violence on our streets. That's how democracy should work. We debate and disagree. We compare and contrast the character of the candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision for America. But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets. The power to change America should always rest in the hands of the people, not in the hands of would-be assassins.
That right there is the type of temperament that we need from a leader. That's what a real leader is. And when you look back at the rhetoric and the stuff that Donald Trump sent to his supporters, it's no wonder that they're so worked up and so ready to go. You know, when they're constantly told that they're fighting for him, he makes everything about it. It's an intense battle. That's not what this is. We're supposed to bring our ideas to the table. We agree on some things. We disagree on others. We decide which one's the best. Not we're out to destroy each other. That's not what this was ever supposed to be. He's the one that bought into this kind of thing, and he's the one that sold this type of rhetoric to his people. So when we pointed out, that's not us calling for any more violence. We want to see peace in this world. We want to see people held accountable for their wrongdoings. But when you sit and push that type of rhetoric, you can't really sit back and be shocked when the shit hits the fan.